ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our today's edition of the Political Outsider for you. In our today's stories, like what is making wave, we are talking about the Trump's Putin meeting in Alaska. And it is making a lot of wave because there are several expectations. Trump has his expectation in mind. Russia has not deviated from their objective since they started the special military operation. Of course, the European Union, a key player, also have their own objective and expectation, and Zelensky himself has his own objective and expectation, while the observers are watching to see what is happening. But before we dive in, let's get to what the papers have been saying, and I'm going to read. Now, CNN, White House prepares for Trump's Putin meeting in Alaska tomorrow. The New York Times, Russia seeks to add trade and arms control into Trump's Putin talks. While NBC News, live update, Putin hails Trump administration effort to end Ukraine war ahead of Alaska summit. Just few minutes, less than 24 hours before the meeting of Putin and Trump, Trump was giving an interview and he was being asked, what if Russia does not agree to a ceasefire? What are you going to do? Let's have what President Trump has to say.
Productive than the first, because the first is I'm going to find out where we are and what we're doing.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
There will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences.
Well, there's one thing which Trump seems not to be getting it correctly. First, I will have to appreciate Trump because he's one of those persons who can use intimidation in order to score a point. That has been very successful with his tariffs. But then, Trump should understand something. When it comes to the East, the bear and the dragon cannot be intimidated with rhetorics. Well, you could do that to Europe. Of course, Europe is a vassal state to the United States. You could do that to Africa because Africa really doesn't have that military and economic might. But you cannot do that to China. You cannot do that to Russia. You cannot intimidate them to submission. It will not happen. Trump has been scoring a lot of victories back at home against the Democrat. But when it comes to world politics, you should understand, Putin is a first-class warrior. He is a top-notch diplomat and he has been in this game for a long time. He understands the game. He understands the manipulation. He understands NATO's intention and he understands NATO's expansion. So, I don't see anything coming out of this meeting apart from maybe they may decide to discuss on some trade deals, easing some sanctions which will be beneficial both to Russia and to America. But Russia's stance is not going to change. The main reason of this special military operation, the main reason of this war is NATO's expansion. And they have as objective to demilitarize Ukraine and reduce it drastically, and there should be no NATO discussion. Trump seems to have changed. Formerly, he was talking of there's going to be, land swap. Now he's saying that it's something left for Zelensky. Well, I think he might have been pressured by the deep state. He might have been pressured by European Union. And if there's no discussion of land swap and you want a ceasefire, Putin is not stupid. The terms of the Minsk agreements were never respected. Even the agreement that NATO was not going to expand if Germany joins NATO has not been agreed. So, what will make Putin to be so foolish and so stupid to agree to a ceasefire before negotiation? Trump is already winning, Putin is already winning on the battleground. Just within a day or so, 11 kilometers. Though, the comedian, President Zelensky, tried to downplay it, say that it was just, a breakthrough by 5 or 10 soldiers, if there was a breakthrough by 5 or 10 soldiers, why are you deploying reserve to go and hold the line? So there is a lot of insincerity, especially from the part of the West. And, they are not negotiating in good faith. All what they are interested is the downfall of Russia. But please, Putin has come as the checkmate to stop NATO from achieving what they had planned to achieve with the former leaders. Putin is not a novice when it comes to political manipulation. He understands Europe, he understands America, he understands NATO very well. So, what are going to be the outcome? Well, at the end of the day, the only people who are going to lose will be Zelensky, Trump, and the European Union. Because let's take the case that nothing comes out of this meeting. The war continues, Trump will continue to be advancing. Now, Putin will continue to be advancing. What will Trump have to tell the American people? You remember he had assured them that he was going to stop this war within 24 hours. Well, he started giving pressure to Zelensky, now he's giving pressure to Putin. What is going to come out? Because there is not going to be any ceasefire unless the troops have withdrawn from Donetsk. Now, Trump earlier was proposing that, okay, they could hand Donetsk and Donbass to Putin. Putin is already controlling over 98% of it. You want to give to somebody what the person already have? It's not possible. And it has been made clear the territories that have voted to join Russia now officially belongs to Russia, and Russia is not going to hand this territory to Ukraine. It's not going to be possible. The European Union says they do not recognize that referendum. Well, the European Union does not speak for anybody. The West does not speak for anybody. They speak for themselves, and they apportion to themselves the title of the international community. Oh, Russia has been isolated by the international community. They forget to know that they represent an insignificant minority within the global stage. What's the population of, what's the population of the European Union? Does it match the population of China alone? So you cannot sit back there, how many countries, and you refer to yourself as the international community, and you think your view should be the view. No, you cannot impose your view to the people. You can impose your view, especially to Africa, where they do not have the financial, the military might, but you cannot oppose to the East because they are a people, they are a nation. They are countries that are capable to speak and defend themselves. So, what is going to come out of this negotiation? What is going to come out of this talk? I don't see anything apart from maybe Russia and America trying to build a deal. Nothing positive will come out. Trump will have nothing to tell the people. And of course, he wants to he's tough and he wants to impose sanctions on Russia. There is no amount of sanction that you impose that is going to change the situation on the floor. And if there is no deal, if there is no ceasefire that will be agreed by Zelensky, the more things will become complicated. In 2022, the conditions which Russia was giving for a ceasefire have changed, and the more this thing drags on, the more it will be decided on the battleground. As of now, there is already fatigue within Europe, the Ukraine military. Does Europe have the funds to keep spending? I don't think so. What did the president of Hungary said? Let's listen to it. He said, Ukraine has already lost the war, but he's wondering at what time his European counterpart will come to a realization and acceptance that Zelensky has lost this war. Let's watch.
Ezt a háborút Oroszország megnyerte. A kérdés csak az, hogy a nyugatiak, akik az ukránok mögött vannak, mikor és milyen körülmények között ismerik be, hogy ez megtörtént, és mi következik mindebből. Tehát az ukránok nagyon nehéz helyzetben vannak, az ukrán elnök meg különösképpen.
While negotiations are just few hours away, Russia has destroyed Ukraine's long-range military plans. This plant was designed, for missiles that will be able to go towards the range of 500 to 700 kilometers. And this is a big victory for Russia, as you can see.
In a high-profile announcement, just hours before US President Donald Trump is set to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, declared that a joint operation with the Ministry of Defense had destroyed Ukraine's Sapsan long-range missile production facilities. Moscow claims the missiles, developed with Western assistance, could have struck 750 kilometers inside Russian territory, placing cities including Moscow within range. Russian state media released a map, published by the FSB, showing the missile's potential strike radius from central Ukraine, red-shaded zone enveloping much of western and central Russia. The image, paired with the timing of the announcement, underscores Moscow's narrative that it acted in preemptive self-defense.
The Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation, in cooperation with the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation, as a result of a joint special operation, fired on the military-industrial complex of Ukraine, involved in the creation of an operational tactical missile complex. It is established that, with the financial support of Germany and the assistance of foreign experts, on the defense enterprises of the Dnipropetrovsk and Sumy regions of Ukraine, a development has been carried out in the production of operational tactical missile complexes of the medium-range operation Sapsan, capable of striking deep into the territory of the Russian Federation, has been launched.
Well, when you check some of the news online, you'll see a lot of propaganda and fake media declaring that Ukraine has won the war. Now, if you look online, social media, Ukraine is actually winning the war. But if you go by the realities on the ground, Russia is winning the war. Sometimes I don't understand the aim of this propaganda. Well, for the European leaders, I will understand. They need to deceive their gullible population so that part of the tax money can be used to fund the war in Ukraine, and they themselves could embezzle part of it. I think the European population is as gullible and as stupid as the African leaders. In Africa, we have leaders that are stupid, who do not defend the interests of their citizens, but defend the interests of their colonial master. While in Europe, we have a population that is stupid. They don't understand the stupidity of their leaders who fail to defend their own interests, but are defending, another country's interests, even if it is leading to an economic crisis, even if it's leading to inflation, even if jobs are being lost. Well, the leaders have deceived their people that Russia is a threat, and most of them have come to power by this lie, and so they need to uphold that lie. So coming back to the point, now when you look at number of soldiers that were being exchanged between Russia and Ukraine, you realize that Russia is exchanging dead bodies 5 times, 6 times more than what Ukraine is giving back to Russia. But when you go online, you will see how, Ukraine is winning the war. Russia is already finished. Russia is losing the war. Now, if Russia is losing this war, why are they calling for peace? Because the aim of this war was for NATO to defeat Russia and fracture Russia. So if Russia is losing this war, they should encourage the war to go on so that Ukraine can completely destroy Russia. So this is the hypocrisy which I don't understand. They will tell you, Ukraine is winning the war. If Ukraine is winning the war, then let's encourage the war to continue so that Ukraine should have absolute victory. What are the territories that have been captured by Ukraine? What are the territories that have been captured by Russia? And then you see that the facts speak for themselves. It's not propaganda. It's not fake news. Let's see what Web Union has to say.
Hello and welcome back to another update where I cover the latest developments throughout the front line in the Russo-Ukrainian war. It is your host Web Union, and in this one there are numerous advances in favor of the Russians within the Donetsk region, with a number of Ukrainian counterattacks which took place in the western outskirts of the Zaporizhia region over the past 2 weeks. The Russians are consolidating and expanding their positions on the northern flank of Pokrovsk, as the Ukrainians have yet to stop these advances. The Russians also managed to advance to the northwest of Jezeviyar and entering into Sarishne across the Zherebets river line here in the northern parts of the Donetsk region. Starting out in the northern flank of Pokrovsk, the Russians have managed to expand the zone of control and consolidate position in several sections of the front line. Directly to the north of Pokrovsk, northwest of Rodinsk, the Russians have managed to gain control over additional fortified positions along the main highway and are consolidating their positions by capturing the railway line in between Rodinsk and the industrial area here to the northwest.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your time, and that's going to be all for today. Once more, what do you think is going to be the outcome of the Trump-Putin's meeting? Is it going to be a deadlock? Will a compromise be reached, or it will just be a discussion on trade deal? Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell in order to help us produce more content like this. And thank you for your time. Goodbye.